sounded like it, but we are being joined. We got a whole brothers panel right now.
More black men.
We have, I was going to say Congressman, that's because I saw Ed Towns. We have Garrison Hayes, who's a video correspondent for Mother Hayes. We have Chris Ray, who is the international president of Phi Beta Sigma. You see him dapper in that blue. And he's also the president of the Divine Nine Council of Presidents. Also, I don't know why Andrew is the welcome committee.
He gets up out like we're not live. Like he can sit.
He just doesn't care. He just
yes.
goes rogue. I'll tell him something he's not listening.
I got a black job.
He has no idea what I said. He wants to be the welcome committee, the goodbye committee, the hello committee, the I'm not listening to you committee.
Don't hate friends.
Anyway, last but certainly not least in my introductions, Dr. Wes Bellamy, who is the public policy chair for 100 Black Men. He brings his students here to this conference every single year. I have the great honor of being an EP on his documentary, More Than a Statue, and he's here, of course, with a kente cloth bow tie on.
I love it.
I love it.
Y'all are all looking very dapper.
You guys are great, and you guys are doing even better than how you look. So tell us about what's going on. Get close to the mic because start out. Get close.
Before, yeah, but she did. You were being the welcoming committee when she was
talking about you should introduce
I'm tapping out.
Mr. President. Now that he's back and he knows that we actually did our black jobs, you have the floor.
And before you leave, we have to get a photo because my brother, I would be remiss. My brother is a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Plays at Georgia Southern University. So yes, you and I have to get a photo so I can send it to him.
Listen, first of all, thank you all so much for the opportunity to hang out with you all, right? Been following you all, love what you're doing for the culture, love the information that you're sharing. I get to do my black job, which is I'm the international president of Phi Beta Sigma. I get to serve as the president, the 20th president of Barber Scotia College, the home of Mary McLeod Bethune. And now I am the chairman of the Council of Presidents.
He got a lot of jobs.
I got a lot of jobs, a lot of black jobs,
Leading.
Literally.
but just doing the good work, And this man right here who has been a big inspiration. I got caught up in this whole leadership chain when I had the opportunity to serve as mayor of Spring Lake, North Carolina, a few moons ago, and I was plucked out of this whole obscurity because of Andrew Gilliam. And so just really glad that he was able to put me and connect me with a group of amazing young people who I've been able to grow up with in the fight.
And they all still design their own outfits. So
just
know everything is purposeful here.
And let's be clear.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. One, man, with respect to our dear brother Andrew, but he's everybody's big brother.
Yes.
Honestly, man, and the work in what you put in, it is super appreciative. Tiffany, you know how much I admire you and thank you. Man, I love both of y'all, but I'm not gonna lie, I love Angela the most. She know that's my sister. And anybody messing with her, I'm gonna find them.
Okay,
we might talk after the show.
We already know Wes. Don't start. I get all across the floor trying to stop you.
I just want to make sure that was clear. But
we'll stop there.
Lord,
We'll stop on that one.
He's not serious. It's just a joke.
Yeah, y'all can't let me in. Wink, wink. But we really appreciate all the work and what you all do, and we're excited to talk about a lot of the collaborative work efforts that we have going on, and not only getting brothers and sisters out to vote, but most importantly, putting on for the culture for these last 50-some-odd days.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to be here as well. It's great to be on finally and make it happen. I mean, you guys are doing something really special in that I think black media has such a really important role right now. And so it's incredible to see your platform, and the way you're using your platform is amazing. In my work, I'm covering black issues most consistently, telling black stories about the way that we're utilizing our black political power this year. I've been down in Atlanta talking to both voters and organizers on the ground, folks who are mobilizing in communities that are often left behind. And many of them are getting their information from platforms just like this one. So it's a real honor to be here.
I love it. Thank you for your work, for the information, people. I'm happy to have these black men at the table because we've talked about this a little earlier in the show, and that is the Manisphere. And the comments coming from the Manisphere. And I just wonder what you all might say to our good brothers out there who might be misinformed, misdirected, miseducated about what is at stake for this election. And I hear consistently from the Manisphere about this agenda to drive a wedge between us. Right. And y'all know we love you. We can't, we need, not only do we love you, but we need you. Yeah. You are integral to our lives and our community. So what would you say out there to men who feel like, well, we left out of the conversation and this black women this and this black women always vote Democrats and black men vote for Trump, and what about me? What do y'all say to them?
Well, I would say...
Wait, Tiff, do the voice one more time.
And what about me? And
that's why she get all the emails and
that is nuts.
So many brothers sounded like that.
Right, I don't know.
Everybody was like...
Pre-puberty. But nonetheless, so the 100 Black Men, we're a part of this 21-city tour talking about Real Men Vote. And to be candid, those are things in which when we go to these town halls, we hear some brothers say we feel left out. But I think what I would say to them is similar to what we say during the town halls is, brothers, we have to be, one, educated and informed on the issues. We know that there's a great deal of misinformation that is specifically targeted towards us. And if you just look no further than the mother, the black mama that birthed you, her rights are under attack.
Yep.
You're a black sister, you're a black daughter, you're a black niece, you're a black cousin. You all just had Alexis on. Their bodies and their ability to be able to do what they want to do is under attack. And candidly, what I'm often saying is, currently, we don't have the time to complain about what isn't happening or the wedge that's being pushed between us, this perceived wedge that's pushed between us. What we have to do right now is what we have to do, which is be the true leaders of our communities, collaborate and work together, take care of our brothers and our sisters, and most importantly, show up. That's most important. Show up and do your job because you have an obligation to do so right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I was just going to add a little snake on what she said. One of my favorite things about you is I saw your videos on TikTok. And you are constantly educating in spaces where people get on completely unresearched, not saying much, but every video that I've seen from you, I've learned something. How are you utilizing that platform to kind of combat some of the misinformation that Tiff is talking about, making sure you're bringing people in to be heard?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's so important here is that, like, we don't get to this moment without the things that came before it, right? Like, we have to talk about the fact that we are at this very week is the 30th anniversary of the 1994 crime bill. Right. Black men are left out of the conversation. I just mentioned being in Atlanta. Just last week, I was in Atlanta talking to some young men, and both of them had felony convictions. They can't vote. And so they have been taken out of this conversation in a way, intentionally, systematically, right? And so we have to acknowledge that there are structures in place that have led to this kind of disillusionment that we see. Yeah. And at the same time, I love the mentorship. I love the messaging that we're hearing from our brothers here about we don't have time to really get caught up in that, right? They're using our vulnerabilities against us as men, the misogyny and sexism that we're taught from birth, the ways that we're being conditioned to believe that women are inferior to us. They're using that against us to leverage our vote against us. And so much of what I try to do on my platform is that re-education work, the work of really taking that history, taking the issues, and reframing them, hopefully adding in some more information so that people understand things differently so that we can build a better future. And I think that's I think it's so important and often overlooked in this conversation because men are being educated by folks who do not have our best interest in mind. The last thing I'll say is unfortunately men are taking their own lives. And we have to ask ourselves why. And a lot of it has to do with the pressure that we put on ourselves. And the Manisphere is a part of that. They have blood on their hands. And we have to call it that and say it that way. And this election is so important.
I think that's such a thank you for that, for stating that the way you did. Anybody can answer this. I just wonder why out of that frustration, because when our brothers are in pain, we hold your pain. We feel that pain. We too are in pain. And I think it's in our nature to love and to nurture. I wonder why out of that does it become that we, the black women, are your enemy?
Broken.
And you're the closest to us.
Many of us are broken. Yeah. And what you don't realize is that we are literally moving through life broken. And so here I am. I have been taught at a certain age how to carry myself or what I think a man should be, how I should move in this world. And then when there are individuals that see me not operate in that space, they criticize me, they tear me up. It is literally death by 1,000 cuts. So by the time I get to a space of where it's time for me now to take a partner, I'm not even who I'm supposed to be. Broken. And so, and then you have the individuals who say to you, you don't need to get any help. You know, you don't need any support there. You know, a real man doesn't, you just suck it up. You know how many times I've heard that in my life? Yeah. Just suck it up. And here I am now, and so you wonder why, as I move through this space, that I am not able to have the true conversation with my partner. I'm not able to really know how to navigate on my job. I don't know how to navigate in other relationships. And so the only time that I find an opportunity for me to really express myself is in this informal time with my brothers, where I'm just kicking it, and you're saying stuff like, man, she tripping, right? But really what I'm saying is, it's like, man, I don't know how to communicate to her. I don't know how to move in such a way to let her know that I care. I don't know how to say I'm vulnerable. Oh my gosh, that word very rarely comes out of our mouth. And so because being vulnerable as a man is absolutely not a part of the lexicon of being a man. Broken. Yeah.
And I'll just say, brokenness also has no monopoly on men. Brokenness applies across the board. And the reason why I think it's important to say it is because we're almost always, it feels like we're looked at from the deficit perspective of what we're not bringing to the table, rather than what is here present that you've never seen exemplified anybody else but me, if we're being honest with each other. But I will say, in all of y'all's comments that hit on this, that it is systematic, that folks aren't waking up feeling broken. There are advertisers who put commercials on television between the most popular shows on that we're watching and others are watching, and never choose to take mental health as their mantle or their opportunity to say, you know what, this is in vogue. Whatever the phrasing is that communicates directly to us in a way that we can hear it. When you consider black men taking on issues during this election, supposedly not supportive of the black woman who's running for president, you are getting not just United States of America Republicans and conservatives coming at you in your inboxes, in your screen time, and when you're twirling through trying to see what story you're going to read next, but you got China and you've got Russia. Yeah. You're so powerful as an individual and as an entity that foreign nations have determined that you are the enemy and are now putting endless resources into making it true. That's right. So it isn't by accident. We're not stumbling into it. We're not broken and falling into it. We are targeted with significant resources to perform a certain way.
But you said something also that I think is super important when you said the proximity. Tiffany, like when you see the closest proximity to the person that you know is oftentimes the person in which you harmed if you're not healed in some regard. So our sisters often catch the brunt of our brokenness. Because they are the closest to us, and we feel as if that's the only place in which we can try to invoke some kind of superiority, which again is all systematic. Things in which we have to be intentional with breaking down. And I'm glad that we have in the platform the opportunity to be able to discuss this. You asked the question earlier, Tiff, what would we say to black men? First and foremost, you're valued, you're loved, you're supported, you're needed, you're necessary, but you also have to go out and vote in this election, or at a bare minimum, encourage everyone you can to do the right thing. Because if you don't do the right thing in this instance, you may not have another chance to do anything later.
You're not going to have another chance. And, I remember there was an argument one time I had with my wife, and she said, if you were on your job, would you talk to your supervisor, your manager that way? No, you wouldn't, because you're trying to protect your job. So why would you talk to me like that in our home where we are, the president and CEO, or we're why would you do that to me here, knowing that you wouldn't do that outside of this space, but you would do it in this space? And I had to check myself. She had to check herself, realizing, I'm not going to blow up on you here, because I know that I'm going to be able to manage how I'm going to delete that email before I resend it, because I'm trying to protect the lifestyle that I have. So why would I not try to protect the lifestyle that I got now? One of the things that we're doing with the National Appellate Council, specifically our fraternities, is we're having deep conversations with the fraternities, the 5 fraternities, on how we're going to make sure that we are seriously engaged in this upcoming election cycle. Now, next week, we're excited that we're going to be dropping a lot of information on how the National Appellate Council is about to be a part of this process. We're not sitting on the sidelines. We're going to make sure that we're going to be an intricate part every single week, there's going to be something coming out from us about making sure that folks are getting to the polls on November 5th. Watch us work.
I love it.
So this is amazing.
So great.
Thank you for that. What an amazing way to close out the show with words from black men and the openness and knowledge that you've armed the home viewing audience with, but also just us as your counterparts who are cheering you on and grateful to the roles that y'all play in our lives and our community.
And we do see y'all. We do thank you. I do want to say his name one more time, Justin Robinson, who is the young man who was shot and killed by the police here in Washington, D.C. just days ago. Wow. And we want y'all to know we stand with you. We're thinking of you. And we're absolutely going to talk to the CBC about what can be done on a federal level to prevent these shootings to continue to happen. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you, brothers.
Thank you all.
Good work.
Bye.
Thank you, brothers. All right, there's Andrew
getting up.
Andrew.
Gotta get up again. They close the show.
The viewers are yelling at us.
He is a perpetual politician. They yelling at us?
Leave Andrew alone.
They always want us to leave Andrew alone. Andrew thinks that we bully him, but really we get bullied.
They don't see what happens off camera.